There's a lot of vulnerability when it comes to sexual intimacy because there's a lot of nakedness, literally and figuratively. And because of this, it's important that you feel safe during this experience. It's important that you feel respected, and it's important that you feel loved. Sex wasn't made to be beneficial to one person. Both of you matter in that process. Your opinions matter and your desires matter. Whenever one person's desires take precedence, it stops to be like a dance and it becomes a solo performance instead of an activity whereby there are two willing participants. Let's talk about consent, because I've seen people talk as if they own people's bodies just because they're in a relationship with them. Consent is really important because of autonomy and because people have a right to make their own decisions. No one should take that right away from them. Ignoring consent can look like someone ignoring the nonverbal cues that the other person is giving. So the person might be uncomfortable, they may be hesitant, but because they put their desires first and do not want to care about the person's uncomfortability, they will ignore all that and still continue, even if they clearly see that the person has some hesitation, even if they see that it's making someone uncomfortable, and that is not okay. There are also states where someone cannot give consent: when someone is sleeping, when someone is unconscious, and when someone is under the influence of drugs. If your partner is deliberately getting you drunk or high so that they can have their way with you, then that is sexual abuse, because drugs inhibit your judgment. They interfere with your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that is responsible for rational thinking and decision making. When you're intoxicated, the drugs make it harder for you to weigh the consequences of an action or the risks of an action. You may find yourself making impulsive decisions and risky decisions because it inhibits your judgment. And this can lead to you having unprotected sex. It can lead to you engaging in sexual activities that you would normally not engage in if you are sober. So let's say there's a certain thing you don't like doing or you find it degrading. At that particular point, you may find yourself doing it because it has interfered with your thinking and your decision making. And the people who are deliberately making you intoxicated know this. They know it will make it easier for them to have their way with you. That's why they're doing it. It's all calculated. Intoxication also interferes with your motor skills and coordination. So it will make it harder for you to physically remove yourself from a situation where you do not want to be. And they're counting on this. Another thing that counts as sexual abuse is coercion. And I need you to get the difference of coercion and healthy persuasion, because some people will present it to you as if it's them persuading you to do something for them. Healthy persuasion respects someone's right to make a decision, that is, to decline or to say yes to something. But coercion takes that away. Coercion is when you make a decision, you tell someone no, but this person does not respect that decision. And they will then do anything and everything so that they can have their way. It's not that they have not heard you. It's not that they do not know your opinion on that matter. They do know. They just care more about getting their way than respecting your decision. And coercion also makes you feel like you owe sex to someone because they will use tactics to make you think that way. So some of the tactics they use are like guilt tripping. So someone will try to make you feel guilty for saying no to them. So they will say something like, if you really loved me, then you would do this for me. And that's not okay, because you have the right to make a decision that is right for you without feeling guilty about it. Another way is using threats. So they can threaten to spread rumors about you. If you say that you don't want to have sex with them, they will tell you, if you don't do it, then I will do it to your children. They can also threaten to expose secrets or use any other way that would, make you do it, because they're not really giving you a choice. Another way is gaslighting you. And this is to make you doubt your own judgment and feelings. So they can say things like, you're overreacting, this is such a normal thing, or you're too sensitive, this is such a normal thing. Another way is making you feel like it's too late to say no or to stop. So they will say things that like, but you've already started, or you've already gotten me worked up, when you should be able to say no at any point. You can change your mind at any point, but they want you to feel like it's too late to say no. Another way is using your dependence on them to get their way. If you're dependent on them, they will make you feel like you have to do it, or else you'll be out on the streets. Another way is actually asking you constantly to have sex with them so that they can wear you down. So you said no to having sex, but they will continue asking you and continue asking you until where you're at a point where you just want to say yes so that they can stop asking you. So those are just some of the tactics that they use so that they can coerce you to have sex with them. One thing I want you to know is that you're the victim. It's very common, if you are a victim of coercion, to feel you're complicit, even though you are being manipulated. And I'm here to tell you that you're the victim. You're not equally responsible. The person was manipulating you, and that means that you're the victim here. Another form of sexual abuse in relationships is rape. And yes, rape exists in relationships. It doesn't matter if it's your boyfriend or girlfriend, or if you're married to them, it still counts as rape. A ring does not equate to consent. Being in a relationship does not erase the fact that we have autonomy over our own bodies. So even if it's in a relationship, it still counts as rape. Another form of abuse is forcing you to do sexual acts that you do not want to do. Like if you find something degrading or something that you're not interested in, but this person forces you into it, that still counts as sexual abuse. If someone is forcing you to watch pornography with them, it is sexual abuse. If someone is taking nude photos of you or videos of you that you have not consented to, then that is sexual abuse. When someone shares the nude photos and the videos, it is also sexual abuse. Sexual abuse can also happen when someone is forcing you to have sex with them when you are clearly in pain and when you're clearly uncomfortable. So let's say you have just given birth, or you're pregnant, or you're on your menses, and someone is forcing you to have sex with them. That also counts as sexual abuse. I also want to talk about reproductive abuse, because it is still part of this. When someone is tampering with your birth control pills, when someone is tampering with contraception, removing a condom when you do not know, or also poking holes in the condoms so that they can get you pregnant, then that is part of reproductive abuse, because it is taking away your right to make a decision for yourself. No one should make that decision for you. You should be part of that conversation, and it's not okay for people to do that to you. Forcing pregnancy, forcing someone to have an abortion, all that is part of reproductive abuse. Another thing that is a part of sexual abuse is sexual humiliation. Sexual abuse isn't only about physical acts, so it's also about the emotional and psychological aspect of it. So if someone is degrading you or mocking you about your body or about your performance during sex, that is part of sexual humiliation. They can also be doing this by comparing you to past partners, shaming you because this previous partner did this, but you are not doing this. That is also part of sexual abuse. Sexual abuse has many consequences, like you losing yourself, you having a low self-esteem, you feeling worthless and powerless and undesirable, and many other things like trauma, having PTSD, having anxiety, having depression. So it's not something that should be taken lightly. And that is why I made this video, so that you can know when someone is abusing you, instead of treating you in a healthy way, because you do deserve a healthy relationship. You do deserve to be treated with respect and with love. I want you to know that no one has the right to force, pressure, or manipulate you into sex or any sexual act. If you've related to any of this, it means that you're in a sexually abusive relationship. And it's important to know that this is not a healthy situation for you. It will affect you in so many ways. And I hope you choose yourself after knowing this. And I hope you choose to be in better relationships. Until next time, bye.